Dearest Mike, before I met you, I didn't know I could be happy. That I could love someone as much as I love you. As you know, me and love don't usually get along. Love has been taken away from me so many times. Taken from me by one thing and one thing only. Death. My mom, my dad, and now you. Taken away from me by the cold hand of death. But you see, Mike, I'm not going to let that happen this time. I'm going to take you back, and you and I will be happy. Forever. A Love Not Deceased by horror author Eric Kapitan. Available on Amazon. She waited a lifetime. Love found her. Then it took it away. Or did it?
So, I have questions. I was thinking about things to talk about. My first question is, what made you write A Love Not Deceased?
It's kind of a loaded question.
I know, it's a big thing.
Yeah, I guess it's the idea. I've had the idea for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, a long time. Even back before I even started writing, I've had the idea in my head. Because I don't know if you're familiar with. There's this movie I saw. I've heard about it, and then it took me a while before I actually saw it. It's a German movie called Necro-Romantic.
No, but I have heard of it. I've never seen it.
Okay, so it's not like A Love Not Deceased because I don't want to. I don't want people to think I categorize the idea, but it's about necrophilia, and
right.
It's about this couple. They were in a relationship and they're both necrophilia. They're both into necrophilia.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a love story kind of.
Right.
I guess the director actually said that it's a horror movie for women.
Oh.
Apparently. So I don't know. So I finally saw it recently and I was kind of like blown away.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I finally have to do my story now.
Yeah.
So, and I've been kind of like holding back on it because I wasn't sure how to go about it. Mm-hmm. So I was writing other stuff.
Right.
Doing other things. And originally I wanted it to be my first novella. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of my other stuff, but
no, I have not.
I got started by doing what was that?
I have not, no.
Okay. I got started by doing poetry. I'm just going to turn you up a little.
Okay, you're good.
Just so I can... Yeah. I got started by doing poetry, actually. And so when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to do like a novella or a novel, which ended up being a novella, I don't really try to think of a length. I want to write a story. I just write it until it's done.
Right.
But originally it was going to be my first story. But I was like, no, I'm not really ready to write it yet. So I had another idea in my head that I always wanted to do, so I did that first. And then when I got that fully developed and was happy with that, I was like, okay, I feel like I've kind of flexed my muscles a little bit as far as practicing with actually doing an actual story. Because poetry and writing a story is so much different. There's different pieces.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm finally going to write it. And the idea, I never intended it to be like a female main character. I'd never intended that. It just kind of happened. Mm-hmm. I went through so many different ideas I was going to do. Like, it was going to be like a guy who is like obsessed with this girl, and he's like stalks her, and then he like kills her, and he's upset that he killed her, so he brings her, he steals her body.
Yeah.
But then it turned into, I don't know, like a relationship. The idea of like someone trying to find a relationship, and when they finally find it, it gets taken away, and what they'll do to get it back.
Right. Okay.
So originally I wanted to write something that was shocking.
Yes.
And kind of gross.
Yes.
And gory. But that ended up taking a back seat, and I ended up focusing more on the idea of loss and what you do to get it back.
Well, I think you actually nailed both. In my personal opinion, I love the book. I was very shocked. I had no idea what it was gonna be about, really, because I'd had your synopsis. I read the back of the book, so I was kind of like, oh, okay. I didn't know exactly what it was gonna be about, and then it really is shocking. Like, you're not really expecting it, and then it happens, and you're like, oh. But I think the level of grossness is there, which I appreciate because I do like gore and I like that kind of thing as well. But I don't think it's to the point where it overwhelms the story or it makes it like too gross to read or you know, that kind of thing where you like don't want to read it because there's too much of that. I like the relationship as well. I don't know. I like the main character as well. I thought it was cool that she was a girl and she was looking for love, and then she found it, and it was weird.
Yeah, that's what I was most worried about too, is the female character. I was so nervous about that.
Yeah.
I remember talking to my girlfriend all the time. She's like, does this seem like something a woman would do? Does this work? And I kept going back and forth. They're talking with other people. Like I heard her read it, and then actually before this is funny. I had her read it, and I've had a couple of people read it, and she's actually the only other woman that I had read it before. When I was in the process of writing it,
mm-hmm.
and I had my developmental editor was female, my actual editor was female, so I felt like it kind of I was able to find the female voice, even though obviously I'm not a female, obviously,
right?
You can't tell,
yeah.
but I wanted to try to make it as realistic as I could.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be like a female character from like a guy's perspective. I wanted it to be
right.
To try to as real as I could get it.
Right.
And a lot of people that have read it that know me think, oh, this is you if you are a woman. This is you. So I'm like, oh, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe that helped you write it from the female perspective. You just like transitioned into that female part. You like had that going for you. No, I mean, I could see a female doing that for sure. 100% as I was reading it. And I personally love when authors do the different gender. I think that's awesome. I think it shows great skill if you're a male who can write from the female perspective, or if you were a female who can write from the male perspective, because they are very different, obviously. But I think that's like a really good talent to have as an author, because it lets you expand. You don't have to write the same male character all the time or the same female character all the time. You can obviously switch it up, and I think that opens up the horizons of the horror world anyways.
That's what I was concerned about, because because when I first started writing, I just wanted to write just really, because I love horror. I love gore. I love all types of horror. And when I first started writing, I just tried to think, okay, what's the most messed up thing I could think of, and I would just write about it. That's how I started with my poems. Poetry, I'm not really a big poetry fan. When I first started writing poetry, it just wasn't. I just fell into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, this would make a good book. So I just wrote a collection of poetry, and they ended up. My first book, which is called Darkness, it ended up selling a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Really?
I wasn't really writing with the intention of trying to make money, but it didn't sell a lot of money, but it sold more than I thought it was going to.
Right.
So I kept doing it, and then I just finally transitioned into doing the short stories, and then I brought into a novella. I guess I was kind of intimidated to do a novella, because I was concerned about trying to create that world and make it interesting and not boring. But I don't know. Yeah, but the story I wrote before this was called Warm, and it was pretty violent and gory. And I think I like gore, but I was thinking, no, I gotta try to do something different.
Right.
Try to prove to people that I can do something more than just this.
Right.
So I just wanted to prove to myself that I could actually write something decent.
Yeah.
Not that I think my other stuff is crap, but when you write anything, when you're doing anything, when you make things, whether it's filmmaking, painting, it's not like you don't really. I guess you could look at it objectively and like it, but it's not like you're a big fan of it. You know what I mean? You don't. I don't think every person that makes stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good or.
It's also just human nature for us to think that we're not very good at things.
Oh yeah, you always doubt.
Yeah.
Which I think the character that Maggie, I think she kind of is like that too.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I decided to make her a writer.
Yeah.
Which all the stuff just randomly happened. I don't plan when I write stuff. I don't plan really anything.
Right.
And that's what's so hard about horror is so overplayed. When something becomes popular, just everybody jumps on it, like zombies. I liked zombies back before they were cool.
Yeah.
Back before The Walking Dead and all this stuff. And then when The Walking Dead came around, more so the show than the comic, the graphic novel, the comics. But when the show came around, everybody loved zombies. And now it's just funny how I can't stand them anymore.
Yeah.
I like zombies still, and I would love to write a zombie book, but I just don't feel the need to because there's a lot out there.
It's oversaturated.
Yeah, horror in general. Like I don't know, like especially in the self-published world, which is what I do. Is there's so much horror out there.
Yes.
A lot of it, and a lot of it's good, and a lot of it's really bad.
Yes.
But I don't judge anybody who, even if I don't like the book, I wouldn't judge them anyways because the fact that they're out there doing it, I still respect that. I respect anybody who goes out there and it pushes themselves. And
writing is hard. Writing a book, writing a novel, writing whatever, it's so hard. Like, and I always feel bad because I just am so happy that people are writing and they're proud of themselves and they put it out, and I never want to be like that person that's like, well, this isn't that good, but I mean, it's so subjective at the same time. Like, not like, I don't like everything in the horror world, obviously. I have my favorites, and I don't want someone to think just because I don't like it, then it's like horrible, because it's not true. It's just not true at all.
Yeah. But in the same respect, though, like, you have to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
Because when I, my first two books, no, I think you did 3 of them. A YouTuber, I won't mention his name, he did some reviews of my books, and he was a good guy. We talked to him, but he didn't like them. He kind of didn't really tear them apart, but he was honest.
Right.
And I respected that. And I told him, I appreciate being up. And what's sad is a lot of like reviewers that review books, they won't review self-published books because a lot of self-published authors, they get defensive and they end up attacking the reviewer.
Right.
So I hope that never happens to you.
I have not had that happen to me so far. I'm very clear in my emails. When someone reaches out to me, I'm always like, I will read your book. I love self-published authors. I love indie horror authors. They're where my heart lies because I think they need more love than the traditional horror authors. So I'm always more than willing to read their books. But I'm always very clear that I'm going to be honest. If I don't like it, I don't like it, and I'm sorry, but I can't lie to people. I can't tell people to go spend money on a book that I don't think is worth it. And like, I could never do that to the few people that follow me. I mean, I have like 500 subscribers, which is not a lot, but I don't want ever that someone in that 500 group listens to me and then feels like they wasted their time and their money and their energy because I told them to. Like, that would honestly be awful.
And for me, like, if I get a bad review, I'm still happy with the fact that someone took the time to read it. And no matter what type of review. I mean, I got a review that was like 0 out of 5 stars from somebody, and they tore it apart. They hated everything about it. But I ended up using it for marketing. I used it because they just made it so, like, they talked about the violence and everything like that. It's like, I'm going to use this. Yeah. And I did, and I don't apologize at all. I don't apologize for anything I write. I write messed up stuff. Yeah. And because I like writing. I like writing taboo things. I don't like, it's boring doing the same stuff. Like, I'm not going to write about vampires or, it's dull to me. I like doing stuff that you would not usually read about or hear about. That's the most messed up things. That's cool too, like seeing like authors that are just starting out, or like even like your channel. Like, I pay attention to your channel. I don't use makeup, obviously. Right. But I look at it though, and I noticed that your subscribers, they're growing. Like, you were starting out as I noticed you're growing. So I think that's great. I like seeing that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
It's doing YouTube, anything. It's just awesome that it's good because you do a good job. So I'm glad that you're.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice. I appreciate that.
I think what it is for me, at least when I write, is like it's a release. So like you kind of built up all that like I don't want to say rage, but like frustration. Yeah. And you just let it out in your work, and it kind of dissolves. Yeah. It's a nice outlet. Because for me, I have like I don't talk about it a lot, but I have like depression issues. Depression, anxiety. So for me, I have to write, because if I don't, I have to express myself in some way. Telling a story. Otherwise, I just go nuts. Yeah. Actually, I got started. I did film before. I was doing film.
Oh, really?
I've always wrote, but done writing. But I wanted to do film. Like, I wanted to make movies. When I first saw Night of the Living Dead, and I saw after it was on IFC, I watched it. I think I was in junior high maybe.
Yeah.
And then I saw there was a documentary afterwards called Document the Dead, which was about George Romero, the filmmaker, making his, the process of how. And I didn't know back then that there are people out there that were, end up in Hollywood making movies. So I just became fascinated by it. And I remember just reading nonstop everything I could about filmmaking and learning. And then I don't know, I went to school. That's what I went to school for. I went to school for film and video production. And after I got to college, I kind of I had to get a job, obviously, because when I graduated, it was like the shitty, economy was, I'll try not to swear, I don't know if you.
Oh, you're fine, no worries, it's fine.
The economy was this bad, so I just had to get a job, anything I could get. I ended up working in retail for a long time, more than I really wanted to ever do. And I just couldn't, I found that I couldn't really I tried to make movies on the side out of school, which that's the great thing about school, because when you're in school, you're just around so many people that are like-minded people, and you could just, I would just make movies all the time. That's what I would do. And I kind of regret that. I wish I focused more on trying to get connections, because then maybe I could have found the job in my field that I wanted back then. But I'm happy now. But so after I got to school, I was working for a while. I couldn't really make the movies anymore because I was so busy, and there were some people, I didn't really have that support of people that were around. So I just kind of fell into a slump of just a major depression. Bad, I was just bad for a while. And then I was looking around my old computer, and I found all these poems I wrote, which were actually song lyrics, but I was in a band for a while. We weren't really talented at all. But I was in a band, and I wrote all these lyrics, and I was like, you know what, I should maybe do something with these. So I decided, I'm going to do a poetry book, a horror poetry book. And I went through them all, and I rewrote them all, and kind of fixed them up a little bit. Then my first book came out there, which, I'm proud of it. I don't really like it as much anymore. The one thing I learned, I wish I learned before, well, I guess you learned by doing, is that you need an editor, big time. I didn't have an editor. I just edited it myself. I had, so I found all these, I found all these poetries, all these poems, and I put them together in a book, and I learned that you definitely need an editor, because, man, it was this, I thought about going back and, having an editor go through it, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But, man, it's just, it's a fiasco of just poorly worded sentences and just words that are just not spelled correctly. I think there was, one where it says, I can't think of what the exact sentence was, but I put, lead, leading somebody, and I spelled it as LED, like an LED light. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. But it's so, but it doesn't, you know what, I'm just going to leave it the way it is, because it's my first book.
Yeah.
And editors are expensive. They're expensive, and I'm no expert by any means, but the one piece of advice I would give to a low budget author like me is that you need to spend money on an editor. That's number one, and then a book cover. Obviously, that's really important, I think. Because you could spend all kinds of money on advertising, but if you have a craply edited book, and just a book cover, it's not going to work. That's the way I see it. Yeah, and I was lucky for my first book. A friend of mine, he does graphic design, so he was trying to get his name out there a little bit, so he did my book cover for free.
Oh, so, that's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, and he did that one. I think he did. Yeah, he did my first book and my second book, and then my third book I did myself, which was kind of big, but I won't go into that. But it came out okay, but it wasn't. It would have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy with the book cover for 11 Not Deceased, though.
Yeah.
Man, she did a really good job.
No, it's beautiful. It's very pretty.
She did an awesome job with that one, because it was exactly what I wanted.
Another question I have is, what is your favorite subgenre of horror? If you had to pick, because they're all really good most of the time, but if you had to pick one, what is your favorite?
I'd say I like splatterpunk.
Really?
Yeah, splatterpunk is my favorite. Because I write splatterpunk.
Right.
And I don't know, there's something about it. Just the way, because you can watch a really gory movie, but when you read an author that can describe just the littlest detail with the violence, it can be almost beautiful. I know that sounds morbid, but
no.
reading Edward, do you ever read anything by Edward Lee?
I don't think so, but I have been recommended him before, which I'm pretty sure he's on my list, but I have not read anything by him.
Because his books are really, I mean, he's like the standard to me, the golden standard for that genre. He just writes just like crazy stuff, but it's so well written, and it's just the way it just jumps off the page to me. Like you can just picture it in your head.
Really? I like that.
Yeah.
Well, he's on my list. I'm going to have to check him out because now I'm intrigued.
I think it's hard to scare, especially when you get older. Like that's what I miss about being young.
Yeah.
About being like a kid, because you're terrified of everything.
Yes.
And that's why I remember I was terrified of horror when I was a kid. The first movie I really watched was, like, the first horror movie I watched was Halloween.
Same.
And I was terrified of it.
Same.
I was so scared of it. And the music is what really got me into
yes.
it. I forced myself to watch it. Like, I remember I would like leave the living room and like then peek my head around the corner to watch it. And then I became obsessed with it.
Yes.
And then, like, I was so obsessed with it, I'd be Michael Myers for Halloween every year. I remember my mom made me like a Michael Myers costume. With A Love Not Deceased, though, something I forgot to mention earlier is one aspect I never thought I would write about is the whole the sub-dom, daddy-dom, baby-girl relationship.
Yes.
That's something I never thought I would, like, was put in there. Like, it was strange. I don't know. It just came out of nowhere.
It fit, though. It fit right in.